Hello students, we know JEE exam has already approached, but still, most of us are planning to take your exam at the second shift. So as we are already into the JEE preparation, by this time, there is no point in getting ready with respect to chapter-wise question. So the only way to test you how good you have prepared for the exam is by taking a full paper analysis. So today, let's do an all India test series for JEE so that we can challenge ourselves how much you are prepared. Let's start. So in this video, we are going to see how to get the answer in a shortcut in a very short span of time. So the first clue for you is that if it is going to be inorganic chemistry, the first clue is that try to check with your choices which is present in physical features like their ionic character, their covalency character, the boiling point, melting point. Any of the choices are there with that, go for the choice. If not, then you have to go for the other choices. So the first question is, which of the following is not true regarding beryllium hydride? So beryllium hydride, I guess, by this time we should know it belongs to group 2 element. Isn't it? It belongs to group 2 element. So group 2 element, what are the basic things about the group 2 element? JE means we have the anomalous behavior of the second period elements that you have to know it definitely. So beryllium, we know it is having very, very small size compared to its group element. Yes. So this means it is having high charge density. These are the first two hints that we can get from beryllium hydride. So as I told you, check with respect to their physical properties. So the first one is with respect to chemical property. I'm going to skip it out. I'm taking it's whether it will be polymeric in nature. The first hint is that if you see something is smaller in size, and if it is an hydride, if it is in chloride, anything let it be, if it is having smaller size, yes, they have a possibility of forming polymeric things, right? So yes, this is a true statement. If it is covalent in hydride or is it an ionic in nature? As I told you, it is having high charge density and smaller size. What is the possibility for it to become ionic in nature? So we know beryllium do form only covalent compounds, isn't it? It forms only covalent compounds. So definitely it can't be ionic in nature. But yes, it could be an covalent hydride. So which is not true. Obviously, it is a single correct answer. So option D is the correct one. But let's check out what about A. Can it be obtained by the reduction of beryllium chloride with lithium aluminium hydride? Oh God, I don't know this reaction, ma'am. Don't panic. We need not worry about it. We know hydrogen is quite similar. Is similar with halogens. Yes. So therefore, replacement of halogen by hydrogen is definitely allowed. So yes, we can prepare beryllium hydride by the reduction using lithium aluminium hydride. Okay, so the correct option is answer D. So those who have got guessed to be option D, very good. No problem if you have not got the right answer also. But the only thing is that you have to encircle the most promptuous answer that's possible in inorganic. Let's go for the next question. Yes. So it is related with surface chemistry, but definitely we should have got to know it because it relates even with the bonding energy, not just with surface chemistry, but also with respect to bonding energy. So the two elements that they are comparing is hydrogen and deuterium. We know deuterium is an heavier isotope of hydrogen. So as I told you, what should you do? Go for the physical properties of them. Number one, they're asking us to choose the correct statement here. Hydrogen has higher bond dissociation energy than deuterium. Is that so? So if I have this is deuterium, we know the van der Waals force of attraction is definitely more compared to hydrogen, isn't it? So therefore, if the force of attraction is quite more, what do you expect? The amount of energy to break this bond, what you call it as bond dissociation energy, definitely it should be greater. But option D says that hydrogen is having higher bond dissociation energy than deuterium. Definitely, it's not the correct statement. The next one, hydrogen reacts slower with chlorine than deuterium. Is that a possibility? What is this effect called as? Do you remember this effect? What do you call it as kinetic isotopic effect? Yes. What does it mean? Among the isotopes, which is so kinetically labile, which can move very faster. Of course, we know hydrogen molecular mass is lower than deuterium's molecular mass. So which do you expect to go faster and react with chlorine? Obviously hydrogen. So hydrogen reacts slower with chlorine with deuterium is definitely a false statement again. Going on for the other two statements. Option B, hydrogen is more rapidly absorbed on the surface for chemist's option than deuterium. Now, the first option is with respect to physics option. Of course, this comes with respect to surface chemistry, but it's not completely related with surface chemistry. So if there is a surface, let us say any metal surface, any carbon surface, any surface is there. So if deuterium, let me consider this is deuterium and let me consider this is hydrogen. If though both of them are coming for the participation to get absorbed on the surface, which one would get rapidly absorbed? Now, with respect to two methodologies that we have, two phenomenons, one is physics option, another one is chemist option. Physics option does not involve any kind of bond formation and all. It is purely relative with respect to how happy they are on the surface, how easily they are attracted on the surface. So with respect to that, the most important category for which is determining physics option is van der Waals force of attraction. Van der Waals force of attraction. So we know just now deuterium is having higher van der Waals force of attraction. So therefore, for physics option, deuterium will be definitely absorbed more than hydrogen. So this is also a wrong statement. Going on for chemist option. Chemist option is relative with respect to bond formation. When will it form? When some amount of energy is required. Again, van der Waals force of attraction is coming to help us. If deuterium is like this, it is having so much of bond dissociation energy. If I'm going to supply some energy to it, compare the energy that you require to break the bond between the two hydrogens and the two deuterium, which would require more? Obviously deuterium. So hydrogen bond can be broken so easily. So which do you expect to rapidly get absorbed on the surface? Obviously hydrogen. Why? Because hydrogen is having low van der Waals force of attraction. So this is the correct statement. So those who have chosen this as the answer, very good children. Let's go for the next question. This is an interesting question. As I told you again, what you should do, go for their physical characteristics. Which of them is an incorrect statement? So option, I'm just looking at the options. Yes, I'm going for option C immediately. Boric acid is no longer used as an antiseptic powder for babies because it sometimes causes rash. Of course, true. Long years back, boric acid was used as an antiseptic, but today it is completely prohibited in almost every country. Why? Because it is causing rashes. So this is a correct statement. Next one. Orthoboric acid is insoluble in water. Is that true? Orthoboric acid, how do you write it? H3BO3. In the presence of water, what does it do? What is the characteristics of boric acid? Though you can see three hydrogens are there, just like phosphoric acid, these three hydrogens cannot be deprotonated as easily like phosphoric acid. So they are not a Bronsted acid. Number one, they don't act as, they are not a Bronsted acid. So we need to know what is a Bronsted acid for this. What is a Bronsted acid? An acid which releases H plus fast. That is called Bronsted acid. This can't do it. But is it a Lewis acid? What is a Lewis acid then? Whichever accepts electron, whichever is accepting electron is called Lewis acid. So come on, let's see what is happening in water. Water is nothing but is a polar ion which is having H plus and OH minus. Boric acid, what does it do is that it is going to abstract this OH minus to this. Since OH is carrying the negative charge, isn't it having the electronic cloud? Yes, of course. So therefore, yes, boric acid acts as a Lewis acid, but it is not a Bronsted acid. So this is also a correct statement. So what is the consequent ion that is going to form? BOH, 4 times of minus plus H plus. From where is this H plus resulting from? This H plus is from water. From where it has come? From water. Can you see this? It has taken OH minus. So what is remaining here? H plus. So H plus is there from water. Okay. So we are having option A and D again. So D, is it insoluble in water? Of course not. If it was insoluble in water, then how come it could have formed these and all? So yes, this is an incorrect statement. Okay. Now let's look at the option A. We have found out the correct answer, but still we need to know about the other options as well. Boron C-sp oxide is an anhydride of orthoboric acid. What is the C-sp oxide basically? What is C-sp oxide? Any oxide which is having a molecular composition of M2O3. This is called C-sp oxide. So let me take H3BO3, the orthoboric acid, anhydride. What do you mean by anhydride? Release of water or removal of water. And the resultant product is the anhydride. So start heating it up so that you release the water. So what do you form? Boric anhydride, B2O3. Now just compare the formula of M2O3 and B2O3. Are they relevant? Yes, they are. So boron C-sp oxide is of course the anhydride of orthoboric acid. So this is also the correct option. Yes. So those who have got the option D as your correct, as an incorrect statement, very well done, children. Let's go for the next question. The most basic oxide among the following is. So I guess in CBSE itself we should have seen metal oxides or basic non-metal oxides or acidic metalloids. Higher oxidation state, metalloids, if they are having higher oxidation states, they are acidic. If it is lower oxidation state, then it is basic. Also, what do we know? We know when I'm looking at the periodic table, ATP, acidity increases. And what happens to your basicity? Obviously decreases. DTG, down the group. What happens? Acidity decreases. And what happens to your basicity? Basicity increases. Now let's start fixing these elements. Number one, silicon dioxide. Silicon, we know it is a metalloid. What oxidation state it is right now? +4. Is it the highest maximum positive oxidation state? Yes, it is. So therefore, it is acidic oxide. Al2O3, where is it? It is in the group 3. But the other two oxides is group 1. Lithium, sodium, group 2. Beryllium, magnesium, group 3. Boron, aluminium. So as we traveled along the period, alumina should be definitely be acidic in nature. But yes, we know that it is a very, very exclusive material. Why? It is an amphoteric oxide. Means what? It can react with both acid as well as bases. Now the fight relies with magnesium oxide and sodium oxide. We know as I'm moving along the period, the acidity should increase. So what do we have here is sodium and magnesium. So among them, which is your predecessor? Obviously sodium. So sodium will be the most basic oxide among all the choices.